Hello and welcome to Meadow Bakery. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful designs on bread using some homemade stencils. Before we get started, head over to my website, meadowbakery.com. Sign up if you haven't already done so, and then close the page. Go to the courses website where you'll find a list of courses available to buy on my website. When you find the one that you like, you just click on it and you'll be taken to a sales page where there'll be a video telling you more about the course, and there'll be a bit more information down the page about what's involved in the course, and then you click buy and follow the buying process. For my designs, I used Canva, which is a free design software platform. It also has a paid version, but I used the free one. So you go onto their website and you can search for so many different things. So I wanted to make a graduation one. So I typed graduation cap and I got all these variations. You can choose any one that you like. I chose one. This is for my bread. So I wanted a 4-inch shape that fits on my bread perfectly right in the middle. So I created my blank canvas with the dimensions that I needed. And then I dragged the design onto it. And then make sure it fits well, then choose text that goes with what I want to look for. I can choose the font type on here, and I like this one, so this is the one I went for. And then for here, I want some wow lettering. Just search, and you can also make your own. You can make your own custom designs if you want. You can upload your own images or anything like that. So now I've got my image, which I'm going to start to cut out. Okay, so I've printed this out and I'm going to cut it. Here I've got self-healing cutting mat. It's got two sides. It's got a metric side and imperial side. So you choose whichever side. This is great for crafts. So if you do lots of different crafts, this is a good mat to buy. So I'm going to, put it like this. So I have to change how I'm recording because I'm going to be cutting this out. I also have this set. It's a craft set. It comes with different tools for crafts. So I've got a craft knife, which I'm going to use. And it comes with extra blades in a pack. This is the craft knife. Okay, it's got a safety cover on it. So I'm just going to put it in there for now. And you've got various tools in there. Like for this, for example, this, it helps with lifting the papers out, and it's got the other side as well. So it's a nice set to have, but this is for people who do different crafts. It even comes with a ruler for cutting out straight lines. It helps, and scissors, and I'm not sure what this is. Okay, so in all this, for now, I just need the craft knife and probably this. Okay, so everything is just going to go back in the bag. Yeah, I might need the ruler as well, so I'll leave that out. I definitely don't need the extra blades anytime soon. I'm going to open this. So I'm just going to turn this so that I can cut it easier. So, okay. So I don't need the measurements on this board at all. I'm going to get my ruler, place it on there, open this, and then cut it. Okay. And the same for the other side. Okay, so for this part here, it's not as straightforward to cut because of this tassel here. So I will cut it up to where the tassel starts. You can actually make this into 3 pieces if you want, but I'm going to make it into 2 pieces. I will explain what I mean by 3 pieces soon. So cut it up to there, where it starts there. Then I'm going to freehand the cutting here. So I will start cutting from there. Just follow the design as best as you can. Need a very steady hand for this. And then I think I can use a ruler for this part, or part of it anyway. No, actually it won't work, so I'm going, yeah, just for this part, a ruler there. And then I go back up there. There. And then just for this one, I'll do it like this. So let's take it out. Just gently press it in. If there are some parts that are not cut properly, you can always go back to it and cut again. Like that, and this. So when I cut this off, when I pulled it off, this one didn't come off, so I can cut it as a separate piece. So this is the three pieces I was talking about. So you pull it off. Okay. This is very delicate cutting, so you have to be quite precise. If you haven't cut it properly, you just go back and cut it. So now this is the second piece. It will go there when I'm putting it on the bread, which I will explain when I've got the bread. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side, and now I'm going to cut this part of the hat. So I'm going to use my ruler. So you need to press this harder than you actually think. That's why these cutting mats are very good, because you protect your work surface. So this, okay. Don't throw this away, because I'll show you another design to do using this, as well as the cutout pieces. So this will go on the bread looking like this. Okay. It will all make sense when I record the video of the bread. So I've got that done. Now it's time to cut out the letters. You have to cut them all one by one. I don't know if there's an easier way to do this. There probably is, but I'm going to do it by hand. And finally, cutting out the exclamation mark. I'm not cutting, can you see there's two outlines? I'm cutting the inner outline, this one. So even for my R, I cut out the inside as well. as well as the A. So now I'm going to get my letters out. I'm going to just be as gentle as possible, and if you need to cut again, you just cut them again. Okay, so that's the C. The O is already there, and I cut out the center. Okay, so I've finished cutting all my letters, and it's looking really good already. So this is the center of the O, and this is for the R. I will use them as well for another design. And this cutout can actually be used as well on the bread. So I'm going to show you two designs. I'll bake two sourdoughs, one with this design and another one with this design. So they can both be used, and they look very different, and they both look great. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out these letters. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this in half. And then I'm going to remove this. It's best to do it before you cut out the letters, but I forgot to do that. So, because I don't want to tear this, because I want to use it again for the design. There you go. Okay, if I do it like this, that's much better. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side while I cut out these letters. You can actually trim the paper. I think I will trim the paper so that it fits better on my bread. So fold the ends. Then I'll also fold this. I don't need this part. And I don't need this. And can you see this? I got quite a lot of excess there and a bit there. I'm just going to trim the one at the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to start cutting the letters. I can use a ruler partially, like for the long sides. These letters are so much easier to cut because they are bigger. So position your ruler properly, okay, and then start to cut. Okay, so I've cut the letters out, so I need to push them out. So, okay, this one's a bit loose, but I clearly didn't cut it out good enough. So I need to cut some more. Let me see. O is fine. O is getting out easily. So I'm putting it there. How about the first W? Yep. This one's coming out okay as well. So get as many letters as you can out first before you have to recut anything else. The exclamation mark is good to go. Okay. So that's done. And here, let me see. Is this the middle part? Okay, that's done. Okay, so that's it. That's the letters done. Oh, wow. So it spells wow like this. And I guess you can spell mom too. If you're doing it for mom, you can just flip the letters over. Okay, that's it. And this design can also be used on bread. So I think I'll also make another loaf to show you how to use this design on it. I might do, but I definitely will for this one. Not sure about this one yet. Okay, so I've cut my letters and the graduation cap. So you can see I've got all these letters cut out, and I also have this part. This part I'm going to also use it. So I'll bake 2 loaves today, and I'll show you how to use both and the different designs that you get. So I'm going to start with this one, which is a bit more complex. So let's get started. I've already made my sourdough bread. So I left this bulk fermenting overnight, and I put it in the fridge so it's nice and cold. To know more about this process, I have a sourdough bread baking course that I sell on my website. You can click the link above to find out how. This is parchment paper. I've used it before, that's why it looks like this. I reuse my parchment paper until I need to replace it. So I'm going to flip my dough onto here, like that. This is a whole grain sourdough. I'm using a seeded flour. It's got different types of seeds in it. It's got linseed, sunflower seeds, and about 8 other seeds on it, including flex seeds, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I'm rubbing off the rice flour. I add rice flour so that the bread doesn't stick in the banneton. You can see it didn't stick in there. Some people have problems with bread sticking in their banneton, but if you add rice flour or any other gluten flour, it shouldn't stick. Okay, so for this design, I have to remove the flour, and then I'll show you. So you can also use a pastry brush to brush it off. Then the next step, I'm going to add some water. I've got a spray bottle that I'm going to use. But if you don't have a spray bottle, you can brush it on with a pastry brush. Just get a bowl, put some water on your pastry brush and brush it off. Okay, so I'm not really worried about the sizes. The top I'm more concerned about. Okay, so it's wet, but not too wet. I brush some water off because I don't want it to be too wet. Just want it enough for my stencils to stick on. You see all these seeds are showing on the flour. These seeds are nice and they're showing on the sourdough. It looks very pretty. Okay, I've got the packet of flour. It says it's got wheat. It's wheat flour. It's got rye flakes, oat flakes, wheat, gluten, maize, linseed, millet seeds, and sunflower seeds. Okay, so so I need them to be arranged on top like that. So I'll just turn my dough, okay, and try and center it as much as you can and pat it down. The water is supposed to help it stick down. Okay, if you find it not sticking down, you might need to add some more water. And this part. Okay. Just leave a bit of a gap. It's looking nice already. And this part, remember, don't forget it. You can cut it as one piece, like I said earlier, or just cut it off as a third piece. It doesn't matter. I tried to cut it off as one piece, it didn't work, so I cut it separately. You can see it's already starting to take shape. Now for the letters, I need to make sure they fit from the beginning here right up to the end. So you have to make sure your spacing is good. Okay, so now I'm going to get the letters. Start with C. It helps if your fingers are a little bit wet. I'm going to put the C right there under there too. I don't want to stick them down too much yet because because I might not have them centered enough, so I need to make sure my spacing is right before I completely stick them on. You can use wet fingers. Just spray a bit of water on your fingers to make them wet, to make picking up the papers easier. Look, my fingers are wet now, and if I go there and pick the letter, it just sticks onto my finger like that. Makes it so much easier. Now I've got this is my exclamation mark. I've got the dot for the exclamation mark to put. So I'm just going to get that and add it on. Okay, so look at that. It's already looking so beautiful. So I'm going to go for a look where I really want this to stand out. You can leave it like this if you don't like flour on your bread, but I am going to dust some flour, and then the rice flour that I use for my sourdough is in this shaker. So it will make the bread, since it's wholemeal bread, it will make this white and make this stand out more. It will make sense when you see the end product, but I'll show you now. Okay, so my letters, I'm happy with those. I can now push them in to make sure that they are stuck in. Okay, so now I'm going to add some flour on top. So I'm just going to pat this down. The next step is to remove the letters. I've got my selection of tools from my bag that I showed you. I was cutting the stencils with. I'm going to try this one for the small pieces, but for the big pieces I'm going to just, I can use one of these to lift off this part. Okay. Look at that, looking very nice. And then I do that. I need to make sure there's no flour on there. Okay. And now for the letters. And dust some flour off if there's too much. You can actually keep these for next time. They're a bit moist at the moment, but you can leave them to dry and reuse them. Okay, look at that. Now one more thing, because I want to control how this opens up in the oven, I'm going to score around this decoration. So I've got my razor blade and I am going to score. I'm going to do a circle. Okay, so I start on this edge like that. It has to be quite a deep score. And this. Now I'm going to bake this. These stencils, you can keep them as a stencil. You can just brush off the flour. Leave them to dry for next time use. Okay, I'm just going to put this to the side for now. And I'm going to put my bread in the enamel roaster I used to bake it in. So this is a enamel roaster for roasting, you know, stuff, even chicken, vegetables and stuff like that. I use it for my sourdough. So I'm going to gently lift this up and place it in there like that. Okay, just need to make sure my score is not closing up. Okay, it's not, it's fine. Right, and I bake mine with the lid on. Throughout the whole baking process, I keep the lid on for about 45 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to open it and voila! Oh my goodness, this looks absolutely amazing. I'm baking it for my son who is graduating. His graduation is tomorrow. So yeah, this is it. His gift. He loves sourdough bread and he loves wholemeal sourdough. You see all the letters came out really well. I noticed when I was getting the stencils off, the exclamation mark was not very clear, but it looks amazing. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to use this cutout for the next sourdough bread. So I'm going to use my greaseproof paper, which I've used for the previous one. I reused my paper until I can't reuse it anymore. And then I'm going to flip my bread onto here. Okay. And I'm going to dust off rice flour that I use for this. Spray some water on top because I don't want too much rice flour. This one's going to have a completely different design, like I mentioned, to the other one. Okay. Right. So my rice flour is off. Next, let me see if it's too wet. It's a bit too wet, so I'm going to brush some of the water off. Now, I'm going to center this as best as I can. It's like a bit too big for the bread, but it's not. It'll be fine when it's baked. So I'm going to trim this. So I'm going to get some of this off. I'm going to move the paper out of the way. And I'll do the same for the other side. Just fold it. Okay. Bring this back. Yeah, that's better. So much better. Going to press it down. Then press the letter side down. If the bread is not wet enough, just spray some more water, which I'm going to do now. That's better. Just take your time to make sure it's done, because there are no shortcuts in this thing. You have to make sure that it's actually stuck on before you do the next part. For this one, I think the cap will come out better than the letters, because I think the letters, it would work if you just cut them across like that. But anyway, I'm going to try it out. If it doesn't work, next time you can cut the letters and then put them separately. So I'm going to hold this down, pat it down, and sprinkle my rice flour. For the letters, I need to hold them down while I spray the flour. Yeah, I think the hat should come out better. Okay, so now I'm going to peel it off. Ooh, look at that. The hat definitely looks so much better. And I'm going to cut out a circle again to control where it explodes. It kind of like explodes in the oven. So if I don't cut it or guide it, it will explode anywhere. So I'm going to do that. That's now going in the oven for about 45 minutes for 200 degrees, at 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, I already can tell these letters are not going to come out, so I'm just going to brush it off and just leave the hat. So for next time, I'll just center this better. Actually, I can do that now. Where's the hat? So I know the letters are not going to come out. This is not centered, so I'm going to center it. So I'm just going to brush this all off and just center the hat. See how easy it is to fix that? So if you make any mistakes, you can always fix it like that. So I've got my hat again, and now I'm really going to center it and forget the letters. Okay, actually I will cut them off. And it's still a bit damp, so you need to handle with care. So it's going to be like this. I need some water on there to help it stick on. Okay, that's better. So now the hat is centered. The cap is centered. I'm calling it a hat, but anyway. Now I put the rice flour again. So I think this is centered now. I'm going to peel this off. Yes, that's much better. Okay, now I'm going to lift it up and put it in my enamel roaster that I use. Those are just breadcrumbs in the bottom, not a big deal. Then I'm going to cover it and bake it for about 45 minutes. Okay, I'm going to open it so you can see what it looks like. Wow, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Yep. So you go for the design that you think looks nice, and just compare and see what you like and prefer. Okay, so here are the breads. There's that one where we had to stick down individual letters, and that one, and this one. They both look great. They're baked with different flours. This one is a combination of spelt, seeded loaf, and just a little bit of white Canadian flour. And this is all seeded bread. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon. For more videos like this, visit my website www.meadowbrandbakery.com. Please like and subscribe to my channel.